I call to order the Gladstone City Council meeting for Valentine's Day, Tuesday, February 14th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. On this, the 164th anniversary of Oregon statehood, I gratefully acknowledge the Clackamas, Chinook, and Kalapuya Native peoples on whose ancestral homelands we gather this evening. I want to recognize and affirm their accomplishments as the native stewards of these lands, as well as the diverse and vibrant Native communities who make their home here today. Tonight, as we gather as a team of city staff and volunteer leaders who are committed to serving a diverse community, I want to express my gratitude for the system of representative government, representative democracy, rooted in the political system developed by the Haudenosaunee people some 350 years before Europeans arrived on these shores. Without a full representation of everyone's experience, we will never be able to design and develop a better future. To that end, I would like to call on Councillor Vanessa Huckabee to share a few words about another event we're celebrating this month.
Thank you, Mayor. So I want to take a few moments just to recognize that this is Black History Month. Share some information with you guys about that. Over 300 years after the first Africans were brought to what was at the time English colony of Virginia, February was designated Black History Month. The brainchild of Carter G. Woodson and other prominent African Americans, Negro History Week, which began in February of 1926. 50 years later, President Gerald Ford officially recognized Black History Month, encouraging the nation to seize the opportunity to honor the too often neglected accomplishments of Black Americans in every area of endeavor throughout our history. This year, the theme of Black History Month is Black Resilience, exploring how African Americans have resisted historic and ongoing oppression in all forms, especially the racial terrorism of lynching, racial persecutions, and police killings. It's important for me to recognize that as a white woman, I will never come close to understanding what it is like to be a Black person in America. I work to acknowledge and recognize my privilege. Even being up here on the dais is a privilege that has not always been afforded to our Black neighbors. So what can we do to help celebrate Black History Month in a meaningful way? There are so many different options, and I encourage you to make it a journey, not just month long. Being respectful of time, as I know we have an extensive agenda this evening, I would like to share just a brief list of recommendations. Educate yourself, read, buy books from Black authors, watch programs like the 1619 Project, 13th, Masterclass, Black History, Freedom, and Love. Research the BLM movement to separate fact from fiction. Support Black-owned businesses. Fat Cupcake is probably one of my favorites. And donate to organizations like the Black Resilience Fund, Coalition of Communities of Color, and Self-Enhancement Inc. Commit to being a white ally to work towards being anti-racist, which is being openly active against racism and standing for racial equality. And last, I just want to recognize that I'm not always going to get it right up here. So I'm always open to feedback. We're not all always going to get it right when we approach diversity, equity, and inclusion topics. So please feel free to provide us feedback and be gracious with us.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Huckabee. The City of Gladstone is abiding by guidelines set forth in House Bill 2560, which requires the governing body of the public body, to the extent reasonably possible, to make all meetings accessible remotely through technological means and provide opportunity for members of the general public to remotely submit oral and written testimony during meetings to the extent in-person oral and written testimony is allowed. Therefore, this meeting will be open to the public both in person and virtually using the Zoom platform. The Zoom access instructions can be found on the meeting agenda. Members of the City Council, staff, and the public all have access to this call. Public comment requests were accepted prior to noon today and were to include your topic and phone number. We appreciate you taking the time to participate in this process. We will have you muted until it is your time to speak. If we are unable to mute you, please do so on your end. We have a 3-minute time limit on our speaks. As I understand, we have one person who's requested to speak, and I think will be here in person if he's not already here. So, oh, on Zoom. Okay, very good. Tonight, we will start with the consent agenda, which includes approval of January 10th, 2023 regular minutes, approval of December bank balances, budget report for the period ending 12/31/2022, approval of December check register, legal costs on projects for December 2022, and the department head monthly reports for January 2023. This is an item that we do in one motion, but that doesn't diminish the importance of any of these individual items, particularly the department head monthly reports. I always commend them to you because that's the way you learn the most about what's going on in your cities, by reading those reports. Topics of our regular meeting agenda include the report from the Clackamas Fire District number 1. We will consider an appointment to vacant city council position number 4, approval of the city audit and the Gladstone Urban Renewal Agency audit for fiscal year ending 2022, approval of the guaranteed maximum price contract for the Public Works Facility project, adoption of the Gladstone City Council goals for 2023 and 2024, appointments to boards, commissions, and committees, appointments to city council liaison positions, and discussion of the Metropolitan Mayor's Consortium membership. Haley, could you please call the roll?
Counselor Huckabee,
Present.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Here.
Counselor Roberts,
Present.
Counselor Garlington,
Here.
Mayor Milch.
Present. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Councilors, are there any agenda additions or corrections? Or Administrator Betts, are you aware of any?
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor and Council. We have one agenda correction or addition, and that is all of you received an additional Budget Committee application from Nancy Eichstead. So I want to make sure for item number 14 that you now will have 7 applications to consider for 5 vacant positions.
Thank you. And I was going to say I was willing to allow the person who has requested to do business from the audience to go at the beginning of the meeting rather than the end. So Haley, do you happen to know if Dr. Bob Everett is on with us now?
I do not see him
Okay.
on our meeting yet.
All right, well, he missed his chance. I should have called him beforehand. He'll have to see the whole thing now. Thank you. All right. The consent agenda is before you, including minutes and other reports. Are there any additions, corrections, or does any counselor wish to pull any of these items from the consent agenda, or do I have a motion to approve it?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Alexander and seconded by Counselor Huckabee. All those in favor, respond with an aye when your name is called by Haley. Haley, call the roll, please.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Aye.
Counselor Roberts.
Aye.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, the consent agenda has been approved. City Administrator Betts, is there any correspondence for us to consider tonight?
I have nothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next item is our report from the Clackamas Fire District, Chief Nick Brown and Assistant Fire Chief Brian Stewart. And we will have an introduction. It's not as it's printed in the agenda.
Yeah, so you're not
getting Nick Brown tonight. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for the council, but you're stuck with Brian Stewart and the new station captain. We'll keep it short this evening. I understand you folks have a long agenda as councils often do. I'd like to take a moment just as we start to recognize firefighter Brandon Norbury. He's a Gresham firefighter who died in the line of duty on February 3rd. Tomorrow, the fire service community, the Gresham community, public safety community, and the public at large will be recognizing him and his sacrifice during his memorial. Outside of that, just to touch on last year and a few things coming into this year. So last year, and I may have mentioned it in the report last month, Clackamas Fire responded to about just over 27,000 responses. A large chunk of those within Gladstone. And speaking of Gladstone responses, last month, Gladstone had 98 calls for service in the city, which engine 322 out of your community fire station responded to 94 of those. So that unit reliability is pretty darn good. And with that, engine 322 was still able to service other calls within our fire organization, serving another 91 in the surrounding areas. So the partnership, I think, has been a fantastic one between City of Gladstone and Clackamas Fire. It's meeting the objectives from my perspective, seeing the contract and seeing the services. A couple pieces for recruitment I want to touch on. We had an apprentice firefighter application period open. Apprentice firefighter is new for Clackamas, new for the state. It's being funded through a grant from the state for 2 years. We received 436 applications for apprentice firefighters. So this is an opportunity for Boley, for the state, for Clackamas Fire, Eugene, Springfield, and Jackson County 5 to look at the applicant pool and try to bring more people who may not have had the same access to training, same opportunities to get their EMT certificate or go to school to get their firefighter certificate to be part of the process. So we're really excited about the turnout there. And then if the council or anybody in the community knows of anyone who is interested in volunteering with the fire district, we are currently open for volunteer recruitment for firefighters and support water tender drivers and rehab specialists. So that's open through the 26th. And then the last piece I want to touch on, because I don't know that the new council has heard kind of our value statement, is teams. So our fire chief has worked with all of our staff during his selection process and after that to develop the vision statement, or excuse me, the value statement of teams: trust, empowerment, accountability, mindset, and service. So learning to trust each other, whether it's intergovernmental relations within the team, within the station, is an important part of how we provide service and care for each other. Accountability is fairly straightforward. Empowerment, I think, is straightforward. Mindset for us really speaks to an outward mindset, making sure that we see each individual for the whole person that they are, and recognizing that we are here to assist them and get them to where they want to be, whether it's on a scene, in their career, whatever it may be. And then service for us is really focused on what can we do for our communities? How do we care for the community of Gladstone? How do we care for the community of Oregon City, Beaver Creek, all of our numerous communities? With that, I'd like to turn it over to the new head of your community fire station, Captain Craig Brown.
Hi, Chief Stewart introduced me. My name is Captain Craig Bowen. I've newly promoted about 2 weeks ago. As introductions go, I'm in my 22nd year of my career. Been with Clackamas since 2008. Started at a different fire department before that. Really excited to be part of the Gladstone team. We have 2 of the previous Gladstone employees that are still at the station, and they've been invaluable assets, helping to learn the city of Gladstone and all the little intricacies of the station and the apparatus. So Richard and Kirk have been great. They've been great assets. We also have added 2 probationary lieutenants to the station when I was promoted, and we all moved in just a couple weeks ago. So we've got a lot of training to do. We've got 2 probationary firefighters as well to round out your 3-person staffing that's there every day. We've been out training in the community, learning the district, learning the district, the city of Gladstone, what we call our planning zone, our response area. And it's been a lot of fun. Yeah, you guys have a fantastic station, fantastic apparatus. We're going to endeavor to be good stewards and continue to make improvements and yeah, have excellent response times and do what you expect of us. Mitigate emergencies, save lives, the fun stuff.
And happy to answer any questions.
I was just gonna say that.
Are there questions from counselors?
What is, when somebody applies with, you said you had the open enrollment thing, is there a financial aid available to get people through like a 2-year program at Clackamas County, or have they already done that? And what does that look like for somebody trying to do what you're doing?
So I guess there's a couple pieces. So the apprenticeship program is unique, and it's something that agencies haven't been able to do because training employees is costly. So years ago, most agencies went to, let's get employees to get their job training prior to hire. Get your EMT, get your paramedic, get your firefighter academy done. So the academy or the apprenticeship program is unique, and it's a pilot piece through the state. There's no guarantee of additional funding, although there is some legislation out there to help support it longer term. But for the volunteer program, we provide the firefighter academy as part of their initial onboarding at no cost. But again, there is time. It's not a short academy. It's the same standard and expectations that a volunteer has, or we have of a volunteer coming out of the fire academy, as we have of a career firefighter, because residents who are receiving care, having an emergency, don't care if someone's getting paid to do the job. They want top-notch care. That's where we're at. So we provide that training at no cost to the member. We provide all their safety gear, of course, at initial hire and ongoing. And then we do require them to get their EMT within their first year. That is something that we pay for, or we reimburse for. And then going beyond that, the fire district has a IRS compliant volunteer policy. I can't think of the actual term offhand, but we do provide up to $5,250, which is the kind of IRS cap for reimbursement to volunteers to attend community college, to attend paramedic school, those types of things.
Oh, good. Good to know. Thank you.
Other questions?
I just want to say, welcome, Captain. Nice to have you aboard. Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you to both of you for keeping us so informed. All right, next item on our agenda is consideration of appointments to City Council position number 4, the seat vacated by the election of Councilor Anessa Hartman to the state legislature for House District 40. Do we have a presentation from staff on this one, or would you
I'd be
like?
happy to just give a brief overview so that the public is aware of the process that was put into place. So as you mentioned, Mayor, January 10th, you accepted the resignation of Councilor Anessa Hartman and declared a vacancy. We do have a process in the city charter and the Gladstone Municipal Code that requires us to publicly announce the vacancy and provide publication in our circulation, which is the Clackamas Review. So we followed our process in the charter and the municipal code. And the city council received 3 applications by the deadline. Those were Mark Allen Kilman Burnham, Maria Mitchell, and Trevor Taylor. The city council also held interviews on February 9th, which was a public open meeting and is available on the website. No deliberation occurred after the interviews, and tonight the city council can discuss the next step in the process. You could appoint a city councilor to an interim term that will expire 12/31/2023. You do not have to appoint a city councilor, and you could continue to advertise for the vacant city council position. I also want to make sure the public is aware that at the end of the interview process, that Mark Allen Kilman Burnham withdrew his application. So the 2 that you have to consider is Maria Mitchell and Trevor Taylor.
All right. Thank you, Administrator Betts. All right, Administrator Betts has outlined some choices that we have. We have not deliberated on this among ourselves. So this is an opportunity to do that. I will entertain a motion from anyone who wants to start the process with one course of action that you would like to see us take.
I just have a question. I just want to clarify. Regardless of what we do, we will go to vote in November.
Yes, and I think this would be good to have City Attorney Jacobs kind of outline the next steps. If you do appoint somebody, short answer, yes, it will have to go on the November 2023 ballot. But I'll let Chad explain the rest of the process for that.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilor. Chad Jacobs from the City Attorney's Office. I apologize, I have a cold, so I'll be off screen most of the night, and I'll try not to hack in your face, so to speak, on Zoom. City Administrator Betts is correct. Under the charter, the way the language reads, that if there are more than 17 months left in a term, then we have to hold a special election at the next November election for people to be able to run to fill out the remainder of the term. So what you're looking to do tonight is to either appoint someone tonight for the remainder of this calendar year, 2023, and then whoever wins the election in November will take over January 1st, 2024, at your first council meeting in 2024, I should say. And then, excuse me, or if you decide that you don't want, or for whatever reason, to appoint any of the two people who are still in the running, you can certainly go out for more applications and continue to advertise the position and do more interviews if you want to, and appoint someone else who might apply. You have discretion in that regard. The charter does require you to appoint someone in this interim period, so you can't just not appoint someone, but you can continue to go through the process of vetting people and recruiting people if for whatever reason you're not satisfied with the two applicants that you have tonight. So your options tonight, in short, are to either appoint one of the two applicants, go back out and seek additional applicants, and then whoever is appointed will eventually, if they decide to run in November, and then anyone else in the public can also run for that seat in November. And whoever wins the November election will then take over for the last 2 years of the term.
All right, thank you for that clarification. If we were to appoint someone tonight, there's no requirement that the person we appoint run for office for re-election in November, but there's nothing to preclude them from doing that as well. They
correct.
could choose to run to hold that seat if they are appointed to it by us tonight or at a later date. All right. Again, I will, are there any other questions, or Councilor Huckabee?
Yes, I have a clarifying question. Is a vote mandatory this evening, or is a vote, a motion acceptable with one of the other options prior to a vote?
I would entertain a motion to nominate one of the people or to appoint one of the candidates who we interviewed. I would also entertain a motion to continue the appointment process if that were something that a counselor would prefer to do. We could act and vote up or down either of those kinds of motions.
Thank you.
I have a question too. So how's that look? I mean, I'm just saying to get a broader, if we waited and put it out again, because we already had one applicant leave out, and I don't know, in the past, has it worked if you get 5 or 6 more, you get a broader spectrum and more time for people that might have been on the fence to come back in, and then, but the 2 applicants that are here still stay in the running, correct? How's that work when you don't appoint tonight?
Chad, I think you
I
should
can take
answer
that
that.
Yeah, the 2 applicants will stay in the running. They submitted their applications by the initial deadline. In essence, you're just extending the deadline to allow more people to apply. But unless they decide to withdraw, their applications will still remain in the running.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you for your question. I hope the process is now clear. The options are clear. And again, I will entertain a motion to start us on the process of making a decision tonight, one way or the other.
I make a motion to continue to advertise for the vacant council position.
I second that.
All right, it's been moved and seconded that we continue the process. That means following the procedure and giving the proper notice in advance, because we had indicated that the process was completed before. Any discussion on the motion?
I just would like to say that I was ready to make a motion that we vote. We gave people ample opportunity to put their applications in. I feel like these people came forward in good faith at the times that we asked them to do it. They put their application in at the times that we asked them to do it. And I believe that it would be in the best interest of this council to vote on someone to sit on this council.
All right, thank you for your input. Are there other comments, discussion of this? All right, Haley, will you call the roll, please? Oh, the motion, just to be clear, the motion is to continue the process of soliciting applications for the vacant seat and not to make an appointment tonight. Go ahead.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
No.
Mayor Milch.
No. The vote passes by 4-2. So I will instruct the city administrator and the city recorder to renew the process. I want to thank the two applicants who put in applications, as Councilor Garlington said, and followed the process as we had laid it forth. I apologize that the council is not ready to make a decision yet. And I hope that the two of you will continue to keep your applications live. And I'm sorry that we gave both of you this thick of a document to prepare in case you were appointed tonight. And I hope it was good reading. Thank you. All right.
Mayor, could I have one clarifying question? Is it the assumption that you would like this process to be ready to be considered again at the regular meeting in March?
Is that what people are saying? Okay. The March meeting?
Okay, so I think we need a new timeline here. Applications till when?
Correct. That's what I need to
You-
work back from.
you-
And if you give me a target, I'm not sure even if March can be done because we have to have a 2-week circulation and all of that. I don't know if you're going to want to do interviews.
Yes, we would want to do interviews.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
it,
unless nobody else put their application in, I would certainly like to talk to the people that are going to work for the city of Gladstone.
so internally, we'll look at what that could be. It might be calling a special meeting to do so as well.
I will say, I don't necessarily feel the need to have interviews. I was not particularly in favor of having them the last time. I think the application has a lot of questions and we knew a lot about the applicants from the questions that were on there. So that's an item I'd prefer to put to the vote of the council and see how we feel as a body about that. You know, the interviews certainly were helpful in this, for this one. So I know there could be people who have both positions on it. So let me just poll the council. Let me know. I'll start at this end because you've spoken. Do you think we should have interviews or should not have interviews?
Most definitely.
In favor.
I also am in favor of interviews.
Yes, interviews.
Councilor Huckabee?
I'm going to say I'm not in favor of interviews.
All right. Well, we have a consensus among the council that we should have interviews. So Administrator Betts, if you could see how we can work out that time schedule. There are only 4 weeks between now and our March meeting because February is a short month. So that may be difficult to work out, but we'll put that to you.
We
That's
will
what's-
work our magic.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Quick question. So do we hold on to all of our notes and stuff, or are we required at this point to turn those in? What's the situation there?
I had said turn them in, assuming that we would make a decision tonight. And since they are part of the public record, please hold on to them as you would any other written notes that you've taken on anything else we've discussed.
Thank you.
All right, the next item on our agenda is to consider approval of the city audit for fiscal year ending 2022.
Thank you, Mayor, and good evening, City Council. I want to introduce our finance consultant, Kathy Brucker, and our auditor, Tanya Moffett from Marina and Company. And tonight they're going to give you an overview of the city's fiscal year ending 2022 financial documents.
Yes, thank you very much. Good evening. As you know, we have to bring the approved financial statements to the city council for final acceptance. And we were able to complete those, get them through the audit for the year. Everything is looking very good. Tanya Moffett, the partner for the firm here, is here tonight to give you some background, some information on it, because we do have new counselors. We thought it might be helpful. We met with the audit committee on February 2nd. They accepted the audit for the year. And we must go through the filing with the state of Oregon, which has already been completed within the timelines recommended there and necessitated there. And other than that, I will turn it over to Tanya to give you her presentation. And then if you have any further questions of me, be happy to answer them.
Honorable Mayor and City Council, I'm here to present the City of Gladstone's June 30, 2022 financial statement audit. It is a clean opinion or an unmodified opinion. That's the highest level of a financial statement opinion that we're allowed to give on financial statements. Our opinion is limited to the basic financial statements as well as some of the required supplementary information and supplementary information. The introductory section has not been audited by us, and a few of the pension and OPEB or other post-employment schedules are not audited per se. We read them to make sure that they match and things like that. There were no restrictions placed on our audit. So when we asked for information, we received it in a timely manner. And there were no new significant accounting policies that would make it difficult to compare like the June 30, 2022 to the June 30, 2021 financial statements. At the back of the financial statements, there's also an independent auditor's report required by Oregon state regulations. So the Oregon state legislature has told municipal auditors that there are some very specific things that they like us to look at that are not necessarily financial related. So for example, ORS 279, which is public purchasing laws, to make sure that the city has published things in the paper so everybody has an opportunity to bid on projects that the city is doing. So we look at some of those specific things that the Oregon state legislature has said is very important for municipalities to be in compliance with. And I'm happy to report that we didn't have any findings there with any of those things that they've specified. And that report is on page 84 in the financial statement audit, if you guys have any questions on that. So it was a clean opinion. The only thing to note is that there is one reoccurring timing difference that is noted in the letter, and that is due to basically utilities that are received in June, but they're not billed until July and collected in July. So there's 12 months worth of revenue in the financial statements, but it's just that timing difference is what that one $20,000 difference is. And that's every year. It's a very common reoccurring thing. So that is the city's financial statements.
Have you got any further questions?
All right. Are there any questions from councilors?
I just wanted to add, I think it's important for the record to recognize that the city does have an audit committee that met on February 2nd and reviewed these documents in detail. The purpose of our audit committee is to do that work for the city council so that when it comes to you in the evening to approve it, you know that it has been vetted with your audit committee to do so.
Well, I've sat on the audit committee for a few years. And of course, I read this line by line and I was super happy to see no such disagreements, no circumstances, no significant unusual transactions. And I just commend you both for your work, Kathy, for keeping it clean for Gladstone. Tanya, again, thank you for coming to Gladstone and wanting to work with our city. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Counselor. Other comments, questions?
I was asked a couple times, so I don't know. I'm just at, what's the June 30th to July, what's the fiscal year?
July 1 through June 30th.
July, okay, July 1. That was it. And thanks. Great job.
We like easy questions.
I have a question. You know, when we read about at the state level or some very large cities, sometimes they have an auditing department that audits not financial things, but somehow the procedures and effectiveness of programs and things like that. You mentioned there was one area on here that's not so much a financial as it is a procedural issue. Are you expecting that the state is going to add any more of those kinds of things to have cities look at some of their internal procedures or the outcomes of what they do on kind of auditing that as well?
So, so the answer is that's only one of the items that we look at. So we look at lots of different things like Oregon budget law, things like that. At this time, there is no proposed legislation that I'm aware of that's going through the legislature that's going to add additional procedures to that. I am aware that there is a bill that just passed the House that is moving on to the Senate that will increase the amount of expenditures that are required for an audit. The proposal is up to $1 million, but it's going to create agreed upon procedures between 250,000 and $1 million. That the city of Gladstone would not fall into that category. The urban renewal could potentially fall into that category as it starts to wind down to where it wouldn't need its own audit. But no, there's nothing that I'm aware of that would increase or add to those procedures at this time right now.
Okay. And the ones that we are required, or you are required to give an opinion on, we are doing properly.
Yes.
So that's good.
We
for
had
us.
no findings in those compliance areas.
All right. Are there other questions from counselors?
I don't have any questions. I just want to thank you for the extensive work that I know this probably took.
All right, I will entertain a motion to approve the City of Gladstone Annual Financial Report for the fiscal year ended June 30th, 2022.
So moved.
I'll
Second.
second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Huckabee and seconded by Counselor Roberts to approve the audit report for the city. Haley, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Aye.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. All right, this is the point at which we take off our city council hats and we are going to become the other thing that we govern. We are the governing body for the City of Gladstone Urban Renewal District, which also has to be audited on an annual basis. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn as city council and to re-adjourn as the Urban Renewal District.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded by Councilors Roberts and Alexander respectively. Call the roll, please. Haley?
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, we are adjourned and what's the next word? Reconvened as the urban renewal. So we turn it back to you, staff.
So identical to the last staff report that we just gave you. This is applicable to the Urban Renewal Agency, which is included in the city statements. But we still, because they are a separate legal entity, we have to have them file their own report with the state. So Tanya, anything to add? to that?
So principal officials, for the Urban Renewal Agency, we also had a clean or unmodified opinion. We also looked at the specific things that the Oregon State Legislature had asked us to look at. For the Urban Renewal Agency, that report starts on page 21. And that is a clean opinion, and we had no findings there as well. I'd also like to thank city staff for all of their time and effort, because it takes a lot of time and effort to have a clean opinion and not have findings when we come out and look at this. So Kathy, her team, Jackie and her team, you know, we don't just talk to the finance team. We go out and talk to other departments as well, because we're looking at the whole city's audit. So, or Urban Renewal Agency that we're talking about that now.
All right, thank you. And yeah, and thank you for correcting my terminology. It's the Urban Renewal Agency. The district is sort of the boundaries in which it operates. All right, any questions or comments from counselors?
I just have, so are 10 and 11, we make one motion for and do both?
We just did the motion for the earlier one. So this one is just for 11, actually.
11, okay,
Yes.
that's what I wondered.
So again, I'll just prompt you on this. I will entertain a motion for approval of the Gladstone Urban Renewal Agency Annual Financial Report for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2022.
So moved.
Second,
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Huckabee and seconded by Counselor Alexander. Any further discussion? Thank you again for your work on this.
Mayor.
Haley, please call the roll for the vote.
Just a second. We missed the approval of the meeting minutes for the.
Oh, I apologize. That's right. That has to come first. And maybe that's what you're referring to, Counselor Alexander. Yeah. See, I go back and forth from the one page to the outside pages.
Mayor Milch.
Okay.
Mayor Milch.
So one earlier item of business.
So sorry to interrupt, Mayor Milch.
Yes.
Chad Jacobs from the City Attorney's Office. Since you have a motion on the table, I would advise that you go ahead and vote on that motion and then go back to the previous agenda item and take care of that after that. Otherwise,
All
you
right.
need to withdraw this motion since it's already on the table.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Okay, Haley, go ahead and call the roll on the second motion, which should have been on the first motion, which should have been the second motion. This is the motion to approve the report, and we'll do the minutes next.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Aye.
Counselor Roberts.
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. Now, the last time that the council met as the Urban Renewal Agency, most of us were not on that. Some people tend to abstain from voting on approval of minutes for a meeting in which they were not in attendance. But I trust our staff to have captured the essence of that meeting in the minutes just perfectly. And so I will entertain and allow every council member here to vote on a motion to approve the minutes of the last Urban Renewal Agency meeting.
Motion to approve the wrong date, the previous meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved by Counselor Roberts and seconded by Counselor Reichel to approve the minutes of the previous Urban Renewal Agency meeting. Haley, now you can call the roll for this.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes,
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts.
Yeah.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. All right, thank you. Thank you, Tanya. Thank you, Kathy, for coming tonight. We appreciate it. All right, I will entertain a motion to reconvene or to adjourn as the Urban Renewal Agency and to reconvene as the City Council.
So moved.
I'll second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded. Haley, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts.
Yes.
Counselor Garlington.
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. You all keeping up with this? Okay. Let me see where we are. We are back as the regular city council. The next item, item 12, approval or consider approval of the guaranteed maximum price contract for the Public Works Facility Project. The council had a work session on this last month to prepare us for this report and for this action tonight. So staff, will you introduce this next item, please?
I'd be happy to. It's ready, set, go time on this project. And so tonight, we have our project manager, Kim Knox, who is here. She's going to give a brief overview. The mayor is correct that you had a work session on this in January, and that was to bring you up to date on where we are with the project. I also want to recognize that we have Jeremiah and Chana with PNC Construction on Zoom. And we have Brandon with SEA Architects on Zoom tonight.
All right, it is a team report.
It is. Some
Kim,
3D, some 2D. for you here. Kim Knox Shields, Oblets Johnson, Mayor Milton Council. It's a great honor and pleasure to be here in front of you. It is ready, set, go time, and we don't have our team colors on, but we should get them, and everyone here should have a T-shirt. We've been working as we talked to you last month about, we've been working with staff since back in May of 2022, or our SOJ has, when we issued a request for proposals for design build teams. Scott Edwards Architecture and PNC Construction were selected. They're the same team that built this building that we're sitting in right now. And they were selected, and we are pursuing what's called a progressive design build contract here, which is a little different than other contracts in that you've brought the team on to help you actually design the building given the parameters of the city. And it's basically been, we have $4.4 million. That's your budget. Give us this program for that amount of money. So the team has been working very hard over the last several months is part of this phase one process. So in the beginning, when we picked them originally, we said, is it reasonable? Are we crazy thinking we can get this amount of program for 4.4 million? They said, no, you're not crazy, but you are, it's going to be tight. So we've been working for the past several months, getting to shoehorn and get all the pieces in to make, to provide a very supportive facility for your public works staff that the community can be proud of. So that's been the driving factor in it. And in this phase one piece, the team has been doing due diligence. They're finding out more about the site, the geotechnical, talking to trade partners, getting some actual market feedback from subcontractors, we conducted a hazardous materials review of the building, so we understand that better. So a variety of due diligence items that are listed in the memo that was in front of you. And then we get a couple rounds of design and cost estimating, and are pleased to report that we have a building, or the team has a building to propose to you that is not 4.4 million, but it is $4,399,445. So that passes the sniff test on that. And so basically what you're not approving necessarily today, we have what's called like a preliminary design that these numbers have been based on. It's not a fully baked design, but it's close enough that the team feels confident that they can deliver the building that is being shown to the city. But we don't have, we don't know all the door swings or hardware or any of that yet, but that's what we'll be doing through the remainder of the design phase to do that. So what you're approving today is basically the guaranteed maximum price, as I described before. The contract time is that we're scheduled to have substantial completion of the building by April 26th. To 2024, probably about 3:30 p.m. The scope of the project includes both the building and then the site itself around it. So that is the scope of work. Again, it aligns with what was included in the bond that was originally described to the voters about the nature of the facility. And the scope is it's a snapshot of the of what you are getting for your contract sum and within the schedule, right? So we're triangulating scope, schedule, budget here. So that's what the scope piece is. We're also approving the personnel that are being assigned to the project. So some of the folks we've been working with up till now, this great team that are the two-dimensional people behind you, they will continue on through the design phase, but we're also have the resumes of the people that are going to take it through construction as well, because there's a little bit of a pass off as that process. So those folks have been vetted and those are known to the city. And then the contract also, this Exhibit A that's included in the document basically describes all those other terms associated with the commitments, both in terms of the design build team, as well as the city's obligation to kind of get information to them in a timely manner and those sorts of things. So that's kind of the high points of what's in all those details of that document that's included in your packet that has a lot of red lines. Thank you. And Chad, it was great work with Chad and the team and your city attorney to get that document filled in and out to the team, and we negotiated in really good faith, and it was been a great pleasure working with PNC so far, as well as Scott Edwards Architecture. It's been a great team to work with. So I don't know what I missed, Jackie.
I think you covered everything. I just wanted to say I've been asked, is PNC the construction company that's building the new Gladstone Library? And yes, they are. So I would just wanted to plug that as well.
Thank you, Kim. So our decision tonight is whether to authorize the city administrator to approve the contract. The contract is what appears in tonight's meeting agenda. But I would encourage you, in case reading contracts is not your cup of tea, but seeing sketches of what the building is going to look like is more to your liking, I would refer you to the agenda for our January 24th work session, where we took a look at conceptual drawings and so that's a place where you can get that information. Are there questions or comments from counselors?
I have a comment. Thank you for your guys' continued, all of you, your hard work on this project. It's phenomenal. And thank you for providing an equally entertaining presentation this time as you did last month.
No questions, just thank you.
I'd also like to echo thank you for your hard work on this whole project. It's great.
I would just like to comment that I'm happy we don't have to have a bottle drive to that few more dollars. That's just awesome. And I know this is a lot of hard work, even out of our city staff. So thank you so much. Kathy, thank you for saving us the dollars to do it. Jackie, Darren, I know you sat in a lot of meetings, hours and hours and hours, I'm sure. And all your time is always appreciated. So thank you so much, everyone. And looking forward to seeing some new faces on Portland Avenue for a while.
And I want to thank Councilor Alexander and Councilor Garlington, who were involved in this in the earlier stages of this project. The rest of us just come along with, for the glory. But as Councilor Garlington mentioned, the staff work on this in the planning and shaping this project is important. And the council was involved. The previous council was heavily involved as well. All right, I've been feeding you the motions, making it easy, but this time I'm going to want somebody to look at the bottom of page 12-1 and form a motion for this action item.
I want to do it. I want to make a motion.
All right.
That we authorize the city administrator to approve Exhibit A and Exhibit B to the American Institute of Architects A141-2014 document for the Gladstone Public Works Facility in the amount of $4,399,445.
As long as it's done between 3 and 3:30, I'll second that motion.
All right, it's been moved by Councilor Alexander, seconded by Councilor Roberts. Any further discussion? All right, Haley, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes, yes, and yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Absolutely, yes.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Stemple. Sorry, I'm so sorry. Mayor Milch.
Yes. So Administrator Betts, you have your instructions.
All right, thank you very
Kim
much.
and team, thank you so much.
Where's the team? The team's up there. They can, thank you. We can see them.
All right, the next item on our agenda is the adoption of the Gladstone City Council goals for 2023 and 2024. Early after we were sworn into office, the council met for a weekend with staff and worked on a process. And Jackie, if you would like to introduce this.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So the city solicited the services of Sarah, who is with SSW Consulting, and she's joining us tonight, as you can see. We're very proud of the report that she put together, and I think that it captured an essence of 2 days that the department heads and the new city council spent time together. And so I'm going to have Sarah just briefly go over what's included in the report. And then if you have any follow-up questions, we'd be happy to answer those.
All right, Sarah, welcome.
Great, thank you, Mayor and Council. Well, congratulations on finishing your goals, and just want to walk you through what's in the report that is before you for your review. So it outlines really the journey that we went on from start to finish, from the outreach process all the way to the completion of the team agreement, and just detailing, who was involved in the making of the goals. We highlighted the vision and some of those updated values that we talked about. You'll see that on page 4 of the report. We talked about the context. So just trying to recap Jackie's wonderful presentation that she made that night of all of the accomplishments from 2022. And then also highlighting just the overarching context that we talked about as far as political factors and the economic climate and what's happening in the organization, the community, some of those uncertainties. So that's all captured in the report as well, summarizing that discussion that we had, and then getting into the goals. So I know it was a desire of the council to see some more specifics. And so following the retreat, I worked with your staff team and they put together the implementation piece of this. So you guys focused on the high level goals, the outcomes that you wanted to see. You talked about some of the strategies that you were interested in, and staff went in and really detailed that work plan. So providing some more detailed strategies under each goal area, identifying which department would be leading that strategy, and then identifying a timeline that they thought would work given the resources that have been outlaid for some of these projects already, and then also considering what they might put forth for the future budget. So one thing I want to point out is that it highlights it being the 2023 to 2024 goals, but they are 2-year goals. So we'll update that to make sure that that's clear in the plan. And then one of the other things that we will update is, as you get further into the report, you guys talked about your team expectations and your team agreement. And on the team agreement, it says our team as the heading, but as you can see in the description of that, that was intended to be one team. And that was kind of just recapping that discussion of how you guys want to work together as one team. So we'll make that update to it as well. The final thing, I just pending any questions or recommended changes that you have to it this evening. Following this discussion, we'll put together a graphic summary that will include the high level goals, your vision, your values, and that team agreement, so that you guys can have that either at your places at the dais at the council in each of your places, or to hang somewhere in the council chambers, just to keep it front and center, so that you're reminded of the goals in the areas that you want to focus on to serve the community over the next couple of years. So with that, I just want to see if there are any questions that I can answer about the report, or any additional changes that you'd like to see before you finalize it.
All right, I'll entertain questions from council members. I'll start to my left with Councillor Garlington. Any questions or things that you have?
So my question is for Chief Schmerber. The Police Department Community Academy says TBD, but I thought we were moving forward with that. Did I not hear that right?
We are planning on moving forward with that. Councilor John Schmerber, Chief of Police, the City of Gladstone. We are moving forward with that. We have identified fall of 23 being that. However, when we did that, staffing was an issue. So it takes a lot of resources to put together a community academy. Previously for Gladstone's Community Academy, it was shared amongst different law enforcement agencies in the county. This is specifically Gladstone, so people know, the community of Gladstone knows what Gladstone Police is doing. And so we did that intentionally. So it does take a lot of resources, takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of energy to do. So we want to make sure that we're staffed appropriately before we do it, because we still have a job to do out in the streets.
No, I totally understand that. I when I saw TBD, I thought, I thought we were doing that. I saw somewhere that we were moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's in Chief's monthly report that we're moving forward. And so one of the other corrections we'll send to Sarah is to take the TBD out and put year 1 there.
Okay. And then On the parks part on 4.5, it says the nature paved trail. It says grant dependent. Does that have to be grant dependent? I guess I'm asking Darren.
Yes,
I didn't know what the dollar figure on that was.
the grant is for, I think the total amount of the grant is like $106,000 with a 50% city match on that.
We need that grant. Okay, good to know. And that's all my questions. Thank you.
All right, Councilor Roberts,
No questions. Thank you, Sarah.
Councilor Reichel.
No questions. Just thank you so much, Sarah. It was a wonderful experience. Thank you for leading us.
No questions. Thank you.
I don't have any questions. I do want to thank you, Sarah. Our time together was very enjoyable and I appreciated all your work and staff also for pulling together the timeline on how we're going to accomplish all of this. Thank you.
We
Yeah, I
want
also
to
wanna-
add that it's a great looking bunch of elected officials on page 4.
I also want to thank staff. Some of us, as we assumed office or just before, took some training in how to be a city council and what the role of the council is. And it is the council's role to do some of that bigger outcome generation, the ends, not the means. And it's the city staff to come up with the means of achieving those goals. And Sarah led us through a process that enables us to do exactly that. And so I appreciate it. Just for the people in the audience and people watching at home or on video later, the Citizen Academy that Chief Schmerber was talking about was not a police academy in the sense of training people to be police officers. This is an academy that trains the community to understand the process of policing. So it's an important thing to link citizens to the role of police in their community. And I just wanted that to be clear. I am grateful, especially that we came up with a good set, the team agreement on how we will relate to one another as a team, staff and elected officials. And at your offer to have that available, have this report available to us in other formats. One of the other things that happens when you have a lot of newly elected officials is you get a thick binder with lots of things that tell you how the job is done. And if we can get a copy of this beautiful report, with 3 hole punches to go in that binder, it'll be a nice thing for us to have on hand to remind us of, the actions that we're working on and the means by which we will relate to one another as a team. So let me look back to the first page. So I will entertain a motion that the city council formally adopt the city council goals as presented for calendar year 2023 and 2024.
I make a motion that the city council formally adopt the city council goals as presented for 2023 and 2024.
I'll second that.
All right, it has been moved and seconded. Any further discussion? Sarah, once again, thank you for guiding us through this. Haley, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes.
Counselor Reichel.
Yes.
Counselor Robert,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, that passed unanimously as well. Our goals are adopted. Our work is before us. So we will work from this document throughout the next couple of years.
Right.
Thank
Good
you.
evening. Thank you, guys.
All right, the next item on our agenda is appointments to boards, commissions, and committees. We are seeing an exciting amount of community interest in serving our city on a volunteer basis through some of our advisory committees. And so we have some more applicants to consider tonight and action to take. Administrator Betts, will you present this to us?
Be happy to. Thank you, Mayor. So the first one before you tonight is the Audit Committee. You received 1 application for 1 vacant position. What we're going to do tonight is what we've done in the past, is just put up our spreadsheet on the screen, and Haley is going to call each city councilor for this one. It would be for the term that expires 12/31/2024. And it is for Nina Harrington. And Haley, you can call the roll.
Just a second. I didn't know if any of the applicants for these positions would come to the meeting tonight. So I just wanted to ask if any of you, Nina, are you Nina? Could you stand up so we could, so this is Nina. We won't ask you, we're not going to interview you, but it's sometimes nice for us to have a face to go with the name. And so I appreciate your being here. All right. Yes.
I have a correction. On our screen that we're looking at, it says current budget committee. This is the current audit committee. Am I correct?
The audit,
Yes.
it says audit right here.
Down below though.
Yes, that'll be
line
the next
11.
one.
Oh,
That's the next one we're doing. We're doing audit right now.
But on line 11.
oh, yeah.
Oh, I see. So that's the.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
But I think this does reflect the names of the audit committee.
Okay.
So this is definitely the audit committee current members, and we are being asked to consider one more. All right.
I have a
So in this
clarifying
case,
question, Mayor.
yes.
Last time we were looking at these, forgive me if my memory fails me, if you were on the audit, you cannot be on the budget, or vice versa. Didn't we have that situation?
Planning.
No.
Planning. Okay, thank
yes.
you. Thank
It
you.
was if you are on budget, you cannot be on planning.
Thank you.
That's what we discovered from our city attorney last time.
Appreciate it.
All right. So we have
Mayor.
one applicant. So
Mayor, sorry to interrupt again.
yes, Chad, go
But
ahead.
just to clarify, you can't, it's difficult to serve on any other committee if you're on the budget committee. So if you're gonna be serving on multiple committees under the city code, you can do that. But under state law, you can't really serve on the budget committee and other committees because there's that conflict of interest under state law that you're advocating for the budget for your department as opposed to the city as a whole.
All right.
So,
Except that all city councilors always serve on the budget committee as
Yep.
well as city council. Yes.
okay, and I do want to ask a clarifying question, Chad, because Nina has applied for audit and budget. So is that allowed?
I mean, we can take a closer look. I would say if you're making appointments tonight, not to do it. Just because, you know, the state law is pretty strict, and that to the extent that you are serving on both, you're gonna have to vacate one of the positions.
Okay. So keep that in mind. If you appoint her to audit tonight, you probably want to remove her from the budget consideration.
All right. And Nina, since you are here tonight, let me ask you, what would be your preference? If you could only serve on one of the two, would you prefer to serve on budget or audit? The budget committee. Okay. All right. I think it's always in our best interest to accept the advice of our city attorney. So I think under that advice, as I see it, we will not be making an appointment to the audit committee tonight, since the only applicant we have is someone who is also would prefer to be appointed to the budget committee. All right. So the next item is the budget committee. Administrator Betts.
Okay, so this one is a little bit more complex because not only are you selecting 5 of the 7 applicants, but we have different expiration terms to consider as well. So you could start by going through the process just to pick your 5, and the majority of the 5 could be the one that you want to have the longest term and work your way backwards that way. Where we might come into an issue is if all of you pick the same 5, then we'll have to stagger what the terms are. So keep that in mind when you pick your 5. And Haley's just going to ask each city councilor which 5. So let's see how that plays out first.
All right, Haley, go ahead, call the roll, and counselors, one by one, name the 5. You don't have to vote for 5, I guess. You could vote for fewer than that if there are fewer than 5 that you would like to appoint. But in order to be appointed, it will require a majority, which on a 6-member council is 4 votes for a candidate to be appointed.
Can I ask a quick
Yes.
question? Because we do have one applicant that is currently sitting on the audit committee.
Well-
So in light of our conversation, should we remove that person or?
If, let's cross that bridge when we come to it. If someone who is, once we appoint our budget committee, then we will see what action needs to be taken as far as budget committee members who are serving in other capacities in the city.
Okay, thank you.
You ready?
All right, we are ready.
Okay. I'm sorry, Counselor Huckabee.
Okay, bear with me here.
Oh, excuse me, before you vote. I asked if there were people who in the audience, are any of the applicants for the budget committee present here tonight? Hi. Hi, Gabrielle. And Blaug is how it's pronounced. Thank you. That's helpful. Anyone else? Okay, so now we have 2 names, 2 faces to go with 2 of the names. All right. Haley, go ahead.
Counselor Huckabee.
Okay. Gabrielle, Nina, Shane, Ron, Joshua.
Could you give me their last names, please?
Oh, okay. Nina, I'm sorry, Gabrielle Blog. Did I do that right? Okay, thank you. Nina Harrington, Shane O'Brien, Ron Ruggiero, and Joshua Smith.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Counselor Alexander.
Okay, I'll go with Gabrielle Blog, Nina Harrington, Shane O'Brien, Joshua Smith, and Nancy Eichstadt.
Counselor Regley.
I will go with Blaug, Harrington, O'Brien, Ruggiero, and Smith.
Counselor Roberts.
Blaug, O'Brien, Ruggiero, Smith, and Eichstadt.
Counselor Garlington.
Loud, O'Brien, Ruggiero, Smith, and Eichstadt.
And Mayor Milch.
Laug, Harrington, O'Brien, Ruggiero, and Smith.
So this is your quandary because you do have Blaug, O'Brien, and Smith, who all of you picked. So you will need to choose which one you want to have their term expire 2026, 2025, and 2024. And
there-
since Gabrielle's here, she may get to pick term that she wants.
And, okay, oh, yours, well, and we don't necessarily have to give the longer term to the person who got the most votes. We have elected 5 people because there were 5 who got at least 4 votes. Am I reading that correctly? I think I am, yes.
1,
Okay,
2, 3.
all right. Well, 2 of you have the advantage of being here tonight, and you can express a preference for the length of term. No preference? Okay, all right. Any discussion based on the qualifications of the candidates? Anything else that would motivate you to have a preference one way or the other?
I would go based off of seniority, residency in Gladstone. would be
Okay,
My preference, and so that's how I have it selected.
all right. Can you tell us what that is? That sounds like an interesting approach. Which names would that be?
Off of the existing, that would give O'Brien priority, I believe.
4 years.
The longest term expiring in 26. With the next term being Smith with the term expiring 24.
Or 25?
25.
Or 25.
All
Ruggiero, yeah. Oh, wait, no, Smith,
I think you're right.
Smith, Smith, and I think that's where my notes failed me. I got that far.
O'Brien and Smith.
All right, and these terms are renewable. So in fact, often we like to see people who have served apply to serve again.
That's what.
So
Correct her name.
if you are appointed to a 1-year or 2-year term, you could still renew that, apply to renew in the future. So
So then Harrington and Blythe.
all right, so do I hear you saying that we are appointing, it would be your preference, Counselor Roberts, to appoint Shane O'Brien to the term ending 12/31/26. And the next one was it Joshua Smith?
Smith.
Joshua
Yes.
Smith.
Smith for the term ending 25.
Yes,
Ron
Then it'd be Ron Ruggiero.
Ruggiero for the term expiring 24.
Mhm.
And then the other two would be the terms expiring 12/31/23. So Gabrielle Blaug and Nina Harrington, you would have 1-year terms. And I would have gone a different way myself because you were the two that I thought had the most direct accounting experience. But I hope that your first year will, that by osmosis, some of that will go on to the rest of the committee. And so anyway, I think we will benefit from this group of folks. And I appreciate the volunteering that went on across the community. Thank you.
That's the way I looked at it. That's the way I looked at it.
You saw
too.
it that way too.
Yeah,
Okay.
doing the residency. And then also it almost gives them the advantage because after, 20, if they don't like it, they can just say, I'm good.
Very
I would
good.
like to thank you both for coming in person, though. Thank you.
All right, so that's Budget Committee. Let's see where we are. Park and Recreation Advisory Board.
So you have 2 applications for 3 vacant positions. The 2 applications are Kim Agramson and Kate Cornelius. And I'm assuming that you will want to appoint one to the 12/31/2026 and the other to the 2024.
Okay, first of all, let's do a roll call vote to see if we appoint people. And if one or more of these gets a majority of the votes, then we will look at the timing decision again. All right, are we ready to vote? Any discussion on the applicants? Are either of the applicants here tonight? Yes. Hello, Kate. Nice to meet you. Thank you for coming. All right, Haley, let's do it again.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes to both.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes to both.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes to both.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes to both.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes to both.
Mayor Milch.
I will make it unanimous, yes to both. Okay, so you have, or they have both been elected. Are you interested in following a similar procedure? Mr. Roberts, have you done the research on this one in terms of?
It is my interest to do the same.
Okay.
Which would be Kim Agramson with the term expiring 12/31/26 and Kate Cornelius with the term expiring 12/31/24.
All right, counselors, are you in agreement on that strategy? I see heads being nodded. I think that will be our appointment. So. Very good.
I think it would be good to have we just need a head nod or we need a vote on that.
We'll go ahead and do a roll call vote then. If you will approve the appointment of Kim Agramson for the term ending 26 and Kate Cornelius to the term ending 24, please indicate on the roll call.
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes to both as listed on the screen.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes to both.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes to both.
Counselor Roberts,
Yes.
Counselor Garlington.
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. All right. Thank you. So that makes it more official. Thank you, Counselor Garlington. The last one, I believe, is Traffic Safety Advisory Board.
That's correct. You have one application. There's two vacant positions. I'm assuming you will want to appoint this person through 12/31/2024. The applicant is Carlene Cox.
And is Carlene here tonight?
There she
Hi.
is.
This is great that
Uh-huh.
that so many of you came. It's wonderful. Not just the interest in serving, but the interest in coming to a long, boring city council meeting in order to get introduced to serve. All right.
May we, given that we have Carlene here, should we choose to appoint, offer the opportunity to decide which term?
Would you have a preference over serving a term that ends this year or a 2-year term?
I'll choose 2 years.
Okay, very good. That will help guide us. All right, let's take a vote. This is a yes or no, really, because we have one applicant.
Counselor Huckabee.
Yes.
Counselor Alexander.
Yes.
Counselor Reichel.
Yes.
Counselor Roberts.
Yes, for a 2-year term.
Counselor Garlington.
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. And are we in agreement, a 2-year term? Let's give a yes or no on that.
Yes.
Yes.
I think I heard yeses across the board. Haley, we put you out of a job there for a second. Sorry about that. The union will contact us, I'm sure. All right. So Carlene Cox is appointed to the Traffic Safety Committee for a 2-year term ending 12/31/24.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you all that were here tonight. All right. Let's see. Where am I? Yes, and I skipped right over it because I looked at the packet there. All right, the next item. Back in January, we discussed very briefly the preferences that council members had for serving in a liaison capacity to ongoing committees and regional committees and other opportunities within the city. I got some feedback from councilors at that time. And tonight is the time to make those final appointments. I'm going to appoint primary liaisons. If any of you would like to serve as a second liaison, if you weren't my choice as the primary, let me know. And we can probably fight over those or make them work. But let me move down the list. I don't have every single one filled in, so I may need some input from you tonight. The regional committees. I've noticed in attending some of those meetings, which tend to be online, that it seems to be the expectation that this is a mayor's responsibility to attend, for example, the C4 meeting, the Clackamas County Coordinating Committee, and I'm willing to take that on myself. I asked Councilor Garlington, and she expressed an interest in being the reserve liaison to that. So that is my choice there. Business and civic. Some of these organizations that are listed on this, like, for example, the North Clackamas County Chamber of Commerce and Clackamas County Tourism, there are boards and agencies connected with them. We don't have as many local business community related organizations as the city did at one time. I want to put this one on hold and see, how this develops. And remember too, that we have a vacant council seat and we may end up appointing someone who is the perfect fit for one or more of these. So we don't want to get too deep into them and deny that person the opportunity to serve in a way that interests them. The senior center, this is where some significant work is going on right now in terms of broadening the scope of its work to include the entire community and to make a big emphasis on diversity and equity and inclusion in this community of Gladstone. Councilor Huckabee, you expressed an interest in that one, and I would like to make you our primary liaison to the senior center. The Parks and Recreation Board, we've appointed new people tonight, Councilor Reichel, I would like to appoint you as the council liaison to that group. Traffic safety meets right now every other month. We have new citizens appointed to that as well. And Police Chief Schmerber is the staff liaison to that group. Counselor Alexander, I'm wondering if you would be willing to serve as our liaison to the Traffic Safety Committee, since you had a good working relationship with Chief Schmerber in your previous liaison role.
You had a couple of them, but. Okay, let me ask my question here.
Sure.
On the back, are we gonna do the police? I remember you mentioned something about that, so. is there
Yeah,
gonna be a
that was one where in discussion with Administrator Betts, I think we decided that because we don't really have an oversight committee, and the chain of command in city government, in a city council form of government, is the council over the administrator, and then the administrator over the department heads. It would be difficult for a department head to have a counselor, the boss's boss, kind of supervising Lincoln. So long story short,
We're
we
taking that
decided
one
not
out.
to have that one.
No
yet.
police, okay. Well, traffic safety, let me see, I mean, I'm just trying to think, I want it to be reserved to the library board for sure, but I do the gyms, the historical society, the books, the library,
All
so
right.
I don't know.
All right,
I
that's
don't know that I
fine.
could take on that much, but I would like to be reserved to that. The library board, fourth Monday of every month at 6:30.
Counselor Huckabee, you had some input on this?
I'd be happy to be
All
the
right,
primary liaison to traffic safety.
all right. I will make that appointment. The Clackamas County Library Board, Counselor Garlington, yes.
Greg was going to be second on traffic?
Greg asked to be second on library, actually.
Oh, okay. So we don't have a second for traffic?
We do not.
Okay.
I was going to wait till the end and then see, yeah.
Are you
Everyone out my notes.
All right. Counselor Garlington, you have served as our liaison to the Clackamas County Library Board. Are there other counselors who have an interest in that one?
Yes, I do.
Okay, Counselor Alexander has an interest in that one as well.
But she can be primary. I'll just be reserve. I'll if that's okay with you.
All right.
Reserve liaison.
We can do it that way.
Okay.
The North Clackamas County Water Commission, we discussed this the last time. I'd like to appoint Luke Roberts as the, Counselor Roberts as the liaison there, as a member of that commission. We have had some feedback from the commission on their excitement at working with Counselor Roberts to get him oriented to that. And so I think that's going to work out really well. If you'll accept that assignment.
I will accept.
Very good. All right. The Planning Commission, much of their work is land use matters that are appealable to the city council. We have not had a council liaison to that committee on a regular basis for a while because it's not appropriate for someone who might be hearing an appeal to attend a meeting where the matter is being decided. But the Planning Commission also deals with some legislative matters and other issues that help with us with our zoning decisions and our code. And so I'm going to appoint myself as liaison to the Planning Commission with the understanding that I won't attend meetings that are land use matters. Budget and audit, we are all on that, so we don't need a liaison. Clackamas County Research Justice Study, Counselor Huckabee, you expressed an interest in that one, and I would like to appoint you.
I would love to.
Thank you. The School District Board, that's a strong interest of mine, and I would like to serve as the primary liaison to that. Is there anyone else who would like to serve? Counselor Roberts, I did not ask you about this, and I don't want to, put you on the spot. Would you be willing to be my secondary liaison to the school board?
Yes.
Thank you. We will not have a direct liaison to the police department, as Counselor Alexander and I discussed earlier. The Joint Fire Services Oversight Committee. Counselor Garlington and Counselor Alexander have done this one for a while. We have 4 new counselors. Are there counselors with an interest in serving on this subcommittee?
I'd like to stay on it. I got a good relationship.
Okay, you'd like to stay on it?
I'd like to stay on it.
All right. Okay,
I support that.
you support that. All right.
And I believe it's not, that's not an ongoing. Didn't we decide like on 2 years for that? And we're a year into it. Am I wrong?
It's in our contract, but it can be revisited. We were meeting monthly, now we're meeting quarterly, so it's not as involved as it was in the beginning.
All right. So I think we have made assignments, at least in the primary sense, to everything except business and civic. We'll hold on to that. I will reserve the right to reconsider some of these as time goes on, particularly as we get a new counselor appointed. We may want to do some shuffling at some point if we have just the right person for just the right situation. Now that we know the main ones, think about where you'd like to serve as a reserve liaison. I won't hold you to them tonight. I think the primary is what we want right now. The understanding is that if you are appointed as a liaison, you will try to attend as many meetings as possible to bring important information to us as a council. So that's the purpose of these advisory boards and committees, is that they advise us, and we don't have to all attend all of them. So take good notes, come as a good representative, give us a concise report, and help us in the decision-making along the way. Yes.
Could I ask very kindly that our names be put into this and maybe we get a list back? Is that okay?
Yeah, that was the next step. After the appointments are made, we will finalize it and make sure you all get a copy for your binder with 3 holes in it.
All right, we have one more item on the agenda. That is consider authorizing the city to rejoin the Metropolitan Mayors Consortium. Administrator Betts?
Thank you, Mayor. The Metropolitan Mayors Consortium is really made up of all of the mayors in the metro area. We have some information in your packet that kind of talks about the bylaws and an organizational overview. As the staff report alludes to, that the former Milwaukee mayor had reached out to Gladstone Mayor Milch to invite him to rejoin this organization. It's a lobbyist group. The city of Gladstone doesn't have the resources necessary to hire their own lobbyists. So this is a way for the metro area consortium to have a lobbyist, especially during the legislative session. There is money in the city's budget if we want to allow mayor to rejoin the consortium. Mayor Milch wanted to get the buy-in from the full council before we made that decision. The reason why we haven't been a mayor was simply because of the time involvement. The former mayor worked during the day and it was very difficult for her to attend these meetings. So with that, if you have any questions, it's really, I think, just trying to get a consent from the council to allow Mayor Milch to move forward with rejoining the organization.
And I will say just one more thing about it. Administrator Betts described it as a lobbying group. We know that we have the ear of our own House representative and state senator because they are Gladstone residents. So that gives us, the voice of Gladstone on the issues that are important to Gladstone. But this consortium looks at the entire metropolitan Portland area and at broader issues. When we can speak as a body, when the mayors can speak as a body together, it can have a powerful influence on on the state legislature. I know there's a strong group of school superintendents, including our own superintendent, Bob Stewart, that speak together as superintendents and lobby the legislature to give uniform guidance on education-related issues. And we like to think that we can do the same thing on municipal-related issues as well, including broader issues that beyond just the city. So that's why I'd like you to support this. So let's see, do we have a?
So you want to do this?
I want to do.
Okay,
this,
that was
yes,
my
that's the thing, yes.
Before we vote on it, I just want to make sure.
How full that
Right.
calendar is.
Yeah, I know. That was
Okay.
when I ran for office. I thought, well, I'm not going to be as involved as the previous mayor was in all these things, but sometimes that's what the job calls for. And then I will, along the way, find the way to solicit your support too, as much as I can. But this is a group that is just for mayors, so I'm the only one eligible to serve. So I will entertain a motion to support having the city of Gladstone and its mayor rejoin the Metropolitan Mayors Consortium.
I don't have to read that whole thing, right? I just make the motion that we let our mayor do that.
All right, is there a second?
Second.
All right, any discussion?
I'm just very thankful that you're willing to take on this opportunity for the city of Gladstone. We're very excited to see us rejoin this.
Thank you, Councilor Roberts, and I will do my best to represent us well.
Thank you, Mayor Milch.
Yeah, we're
All right.
excited for this. This is good.
All right. Haley, will you call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee,
Absolutely.
Counselor Alexander,
You bet.
Counselor Reichel,
Aye.
Counselor Roberts.
Yes.
Counselor Garlington.
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna need a little more space on my calendar for all these things. All right, next item on the agenda, business carried forward. Is there anything else?
I have nothing further. Thank you.
All right. Business from the audience. I hope that Dr. Everett has stayed on the line. Is he
I
not here?
have not seen him join.
Okay, I will make his announcement for him. Last time he was here, he told about the community bingo night at the senior center. This coming Friday night is the second one of those. It was basically sold out the first night. I mean, I think they had to turn people away. You may have seen an article in the Clackamas Review about the great job they did of fundraising, and those funds helped to pay some of the expenses of getting it started, like buying a new grill for the senior center to use for the food. But they also put funds toward a local group to provide some alternative medical care for people who need that and could not afford it. And there are other local nonprofits that will benefit from this event. So it's a great community event, and if Dr. Everett were here, he would invite you to attend. All right, so it's time now for business from the council. I will start at the opposite end with Councilor Huckabee.
I don't think I have much to share tonight. I just want to say thank you to staff for this monstrous packet. We all had the joy of reading. I know this took a lot of work to prepare for us, so thank you very much.
Same thing. Thank you, but it was deceiving because you thought it was going to be a long meeting. Not bad.
I have nothing other than echoing the thanks from the rest of the group.
Mr. Roberts.
On the note of the packet, I want to thank Darren for all the pictures, the Public Works Department monthly report. In addition to all the reading, the pictures are really an exciting part of that, not just in the picture book sense of it, but you really get an idea of what's going on around Gladstone. So thank you for providing that for us. I wanted to congratulate the Gladstone High School cheer team on taking home both the state championship and then also the national championship. They traveled to Las Vegas and beat out loads of other teams. And so it really is a great deal of pride for them to do that for a second year in a row. On the note of the school board, I did attend their meeting this month. And so I just wanted to come back with a couple notes from them.
Okay.
Business was pretty standard for them. They had a retirement of a couple longtime staff, so it was sad goodbyes for a couple people. And they are preparing for the special election coming up here in May 16th. That is all. Thank you.
Councillor Garlington.
Okay, bear with me because guess who forgot their papers today? Obviously, it's been a day for me, right? So, let's see. So like Mr. Milch said, I'd like to say happy birthday to Oregon, and 164 years is pretty impressive. Just in case anybody doesn't know, Gladstone was incorporated on January 10th, 1911. On Friday, February 3rd, the Clackamas County Board of Commissioners had their groundbreaking ceremony for the new courthouse. If you haven't heard about that, there'll be a lot of stuff to follow, a lot of stuff to see. But if you have to go up to Red Soils Road, give yourself extra time. I attended the January joint council meeting with Oregon City and Westland City Councils. There was a lot of discussion about tolling and what may be the next steps and what they feel had not been discussed enough. For myself, in January, I was elected to the LLC Women's Caucus Executive Board, and the purpose of the caucus is to promote, teach, uplift, and help women elected in the state of Oregon. They're a really strong group, and of course, I'd like to see our elected officials attend. It's just to learn from what people have learned, people that have been sitting on their council for years, people that have been sitting on their council for 2 months, interesting perspectives on who they counsel with and how their groups come together. It's just a really good group. I'm really excited about the upcoming year. I can't say enough about these people. So bear with me because I have one more small page. Luke, maybe you have to help me with photos here. Okay. And this is my second one. There is an opening for anybody that has more time, because we all have that, right? There is an opening at the County Library District Budget Committee, and we are part of that. The committee has 3 open positions with a 3-year term. The 5-member committee participates with the Board of Commissioners in the spring to receive and review the library district budget and approves the budget and library district tax rate. So the tax rate would be different because we aren't part of that. Am I saying that right, Jackie? Administrator Betts? Because we're kind of a lump sum.
The county has its own
That's correct. Right.
budget and tax rate. It appears on Gladstone Citizens property tax bill, but the determination of the rate is done at the county level and not at the county library district level, not at the local level.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that. Anyway, I believe that it's important that we stay invested in our investments. There is a county library meeting on Thursday, February 16th at 5:30 via Zoom. Everybody's welcome to log in. There's a lot of discussion about what's going on our second library. We are 1 library, 2 buildings, and the second building has a lot of questions out there still. And our group needs support. Our library board's a strong board. They all have a lot of really good opinions, and anybody out sitting in their living rooms watching that meeting, all the support that the people who support you can get, it means a lot. It really does mean a lot. The Community Emergency Response Team, also known as CERT, there are still spots open for the CPR class at the Senior Center on Wednesday, March 22nd. If you have not taken that class, it's probably going to be a really good one. I'm looking for a second one because it is Ash Wednesday. The Friends of the Gladstone Nature Park will be co-hosts with the Rotary for bingo night, Friday night. So we're really excited. And I know that the Rotary is also still looking for nonprofit organizations to partner with to help with the bingo nights. It takes a lot of people to run those, sell tickets, sell food, keeping everybody happy, making sure the night's going forward. So if you know a nonprofit group that's looking to raise some funds, This is a good opportunity. They're already the leader. All you've got to do is get a few people to show up and you've got some more money in your group's bank account. So you talk to Dr. Bob. He's, really easy to work with. Mark your calendars for April 27th. The annual Friends of Gladstone Nature Park plant sale will be from 9 to 2. Hopefully we'll have a lot more plants because we tend to sell out really fast. And I'd like to give a shout out and a heartfelt thanks to those who helped with the spaghetti dinner last night at Tukwila Springs. It was another great event. We served over 30 people and left lots of leftovers. I'd like to thank Ryan from Tukwila. We came to the event and he had covered all of the tables out in the dining room and put Valentine's stuff on all the tables for all the residents. That was really special. Tammy, Jim, Nancy E, Nancy T, Lorraine, Lisa and Bill and Alex at the Gladstone Food Bank. Everybody brought something and they brought their own person to help serve, cut up food, talk to residents, just intermingle with the crowd. It was really special. We also handed out Valentine's cards and some gifts to all who attended. The cards were handmade by Lisa, I gave everybody one to show what we had handed out. And then we had cards that were made by the kids at John Wetton, from Teresa Schmidt, who is the volunteer coordinator there. She had the little kids make a lot of Valentines. And so they made so many that what was really special is everybody that came to the dinner got to have one. And then Ryan at the Springs also was going to put them on their door for the next morning when they woke up so that everybody had a Valentine. So that was really exciting. I just want to say that I personally feel called to commit and to continue activities to bring the Tukwila community and the community of Gladstone closer together. And I hope that others might feel the call to help as well. And if you want to contact me, I'm always looking for people to add to my list. And you get back way more than you ever give. So happy Valentine's Day to everyone. Safe holiday. And we're looking forward to a lot more going on. Yes, ma'am.
Mindy, can you just confirm? I think you said April 27th for the plant sale, but the flyer is 22nd.
The 22nd, sorry.
cool. Just
I
wanted to
won't,
make sure.
I won't tell you what the 27th is, but it is an important day also. So the 22nd, my apologies. Yes, thank you for that.
No problem.
Councilor Garland, thank you for, enriching that partnership between the city and the housing facility that's located here. I appreciate the work that you and other volunteers put in on that event. Thank you to everyone else for, lifting up the things that go on in this city that make it great. I don't have much else tonight. I'll save it all for next time. So I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, can we call the roll, please?
Counselor Huckabee,
Yes.
Counselor Alexander,
Yes.
Counselor Reichel,
Yes.
Counselor Roberts.
Yes.
Counselor Garlington,
Yes.
Mayor Milch.
Yes, we are adjourned at 8:17 p.m.